Well, I just got back from playing Life is Strange, and boy are my arms tired. And what's my completely irrelevant opinion on the subject? Meh. Give it 30 minutes, and if you curl up into the fetal position and shit your pants, you should probably see a doctor, because that's not healthy. But if you play for a half an hour and find yourself going, what? Oh. Then you should probably stop playing, because it's not going to get any better from there. Because time travel is one of those things that us armchair thinkers like to complain about, even though it's a lot like running in the Special Olympics. Even if you win, your parents still won't love you. Stories that involve a lot of time travel are usually about going back in time to change the past by physically acting on objects. You cease to exist in your timeline, and you begin existing in another. So the two yous paradox thing happens. Alternately, time travel stories can be about someone with the ability to rewind time and treat time like your fucking DVR. Life is Strange is unique in the sense that its time travel mechanic is bullshit and they don't ever want to address it. I'm only going to talk about the first half hour or so of the game, because if you're a normal person who's unburdened by the compulsion to think about stuff way too much, you might enjoy Life is Strange just fine. So the game opens with a tornado.
No one cares!
Alright, so the game actually opens with a girl in a classroom, who, in my entirely anecdotal case, patiently listens to her teacher's lecture.
Isn't that too easy? Too obvious?
All the way through.
Selfie expression. Sorry.
Then avoids answering a question.
Who can tell me the name of the actual process that led to the birth of the self-portrait?
By looking at every single thing on or around her desk, and then takes a selfie for some reason. And this prompts your first decision, which you might notice is a non-decision. This is not how you make a good first impression. But anyway, after you don't answer the question and get made fun of and whatnot, she looks at every piece of equipment in the classroom before going into the hall and thoroughly examining every student. Especially her. Giggity. Anyway, you eventually go to the bathroom, as is your goal in life, and do what any red-blooded American would. You read some graffiti and attempt to wash your hands in a toilet. But the game won't let you do that. Alright, no biggie. So I try to wash my hands in the sink farthest from the door, you know, proper bathroom etiquette and all, but it doesn't let me. In fact, the only sink that it will let me wash my hands in is the one with the graffiti on it, because it's some sort of a metaphor for the cycle of self-sustaining depression. Fucking brilliant. And then a butterfly flies in through the bathroom vent. And I'm gonna use this as a reference point for the timeline because I seriously don't believe that anything that happens in the confines of a stupid photography class would have catastrophic enough side effects to disrupt the butterfly's flight pattern. Then Orange Bro busts in, Blue Chick follows him, Orange Bro pulls a gun and shoots Blue Chick dead. By the way, this is the first thing that happens in the game, so don't flip tables. But then you're like, fuck, reload checkpoint! So you end up back in your classroom. And this time, instead of listening to the teacher's whole lecture, you rudely interrupt him by taking a selfie in the middle of class. And then you say this.
I need to go to the bathroom quickly and check it out.
Quickly? What do you mean, quickly? You have loads of time to get there. It takes 22 minutes to get from 350 to Butterfly in one reality, and like 7.5 minutes to get from 350 to Butterfly in this new reality. Not to mention that the bell to dismiss class rang early in this new dimension. And this is where it all fell apart for me. It's a game that expects to be taken seriously, mechanically, without following any sense of common sense or its own rules half the time. A game that so heavily involves time should at least give you a consistent sense of it. And despite me not being a programmer, I swear there are easy fixes for this. First thing that came to my mind was that you could set this opening scene to play out in real time. I mean, you already don't affect anything in this opening sequence. All these students are just in animation loops or something. If these two characters just moved through the game in real time, it could have given your character's time travel ability a much higher sense of purpose. Or, secondly, just cache the amount of time it took to get to the bathroom in the first place. And this next part is just some of the worst time travel logic I can think of. You are not affected by the rewind. You retain facts and inventory objects. But where does her inventory stop? Her clothes? Her shoes? Why things in her pockets but not the ground under her shoes? Something she's holding? But if her hand is on the desk, why is it still affected by the reversal? Think about what would happen if she started rewinding time in a moving car. Just think about that. So here's my perfectly reasonable question. How long ago did this hammer stop existing? because you can clearly rewind to before Max picked it up, and it's not there, so the game isn't performing some sort of quantum duplication on it. So how long has it not existed for? I mean, what happened to the guy way back in time who placed it there? Or the factory where it was produced? Or the ore that got mined in order to produce it? And now on an annoyingly related note, when Max drops things, they return to her possession. Because she tears this picture, and then she tears it again after she rewinds. So imagine this situation. Max is holding something in her left hand. She puts it down and picks up a different thing with her left hand, and then rewinds to before she put down the first thing. She'll end up with two things occupying the same space. What the fuck? And at this point I'll throw up a minor spoiler warning because I'm gonna talk about stuff that happens well past the 30-minute mark in the game. And the whole you retain inventory items after you rewind thing isn't a minor issue, because you do it to a guy with car keys later on, and I wonder how he got to the diner if his car keys never existed in the first place. By removing things from an entire dimension, you're creating an impossible timeline. Here's an issue. Max takes this picture and then rewinds in order to intervene. But she obviously still has the picture because it's in her inventory. But in the scene where she would normally bring up the picture, she doesn't have it. Because a plot ninja must have stolen it from her when she wasn't looking, right? Another thing that they neglect to tell you is that her physical location remains unchanged. Except, of course, for when the plot tells you to go fuck yourself. Like at the very beginning of the game, which very clearly establishes that you wind up back where you were at the time that you rewound to. But this contradiction is used as an actual mechanic in the game. You walk into a room and a bird hits the window, so you walk up to the window before rewinding, and then open the window so the bird can fly in. But this room has a security camera in it, so what did that camera record? Max just teleporting to the window? It's hard for me to believe that that never comes up. I guess you could call that fourth dimensional movement, but you can't couple that with moving objects over here in the plebeian third dimension. Not that I'm a theoretical physicist or anything, but clearly neither were the people who designed this game because a lot of shit moves without any forces acting upon them. Max moves through time without moving through space, but the things that she moves get unmoved by, what, tachyons? I don't think so. Her rewind exerts enough force to unwipe this lipstick, but not enough to put down this hammer? And then sometimes all of the rules arbitrarily decide not to work. Like in this instance where you blow open a door using a pipe bomb, run inside, and then rewind time to before you use the pipe bomb so you can unlock the door from the inside without setting off the alarms. So, where's her pipe bomb? She rewound time to before she detonated it. She should still have it in her inventory. Just like this torn photograph in the beginning of the game, right? Right? Wrong. It's just the game telling you to fuck off and stop asking stupid questions. And since the rules about time manipulation aren't trustworthy, it's hard to take any of the drama in the plot seriously because it's probably going to be resolved by some time manipulation bullshit that wasn't introduced or contradicts something that was introduced. Also, the dialogue in this game is so fucking millennial that it makes Juno look like Romeo and Juliet. But if that doesn't bother you, you might enjoy Life is Strange a lot.